to gain a seat in Boston and Skegness. Let's hear his thoughts.
2010 level, which is what many of us believed would happen. And I know it comes as little surprise to many of you guys in the press. What we've seen overnight is a return, and I believe it's only a temporary return, to two-party politics. But at the moment, it could be argued that UKIP have been a victim of its own success. We forced the referendum and we helped win Brexit. And some people mistakenly think our job is done. But it's not. With Brexit, we may well have won the war, but we now have to secure the peace. And that is getting a good deal for the British people in these up-and-coming negotiations with the Eurocrats in Brussels. There is no getting away from the fact that this was a unique election that came about at an inopportune time for our party. The Prime Minister was able to talk the talk on the Brexit negotiations without having to walk the walk, which is precisely why this election was called in the first place. And what a hubristic, foolish, politically naive election to call. It has put our Brexit at risk. Walking the walk starts in a few weeks when the negotiations begin with Brussels. And I wish the Prime Minister, whoever that is, all the very best. I hope whoever leads the team get the best deal for the British people. They will, however, only get a good deal if they believe in our great country, and they are genuinely prepared to walk away if the Brussels bureaucrats put a bad deal on the table. In my heart, I hope they do, like me, truly believe in Britain, but something in my head says otherwise. I hope I'm proven to be wrong. As for UKIP, well, I've said throughout this election that in politics, sometimes the tide comes in, sometimes the tide goes out. But for us, although the tide may be out at the moment, at this present moment in time, I am convinced it will return. The one question I've been asked by the media, more than any other during this general election, has been, what is the relevance of UKIP now? Well, I contend, even after a difficult night last night, that UKIP is more relevant than it ever was. This is because UKIP are, more now than ever after last night's result, the guard dogs of Brexit. And the Prime Minister, and I suspect it will be a Tory, must know that if they begin to backtrack or barter things away, then they must know they will be punished at the ballot box. And that will only happen if UKIP is electorally viable and strong. We are, in effect, the country's insurance policy on Brexit. UKIP has also proved its relevance by leading the agenda in many ways in this election. To give you one example, we were the first to talk about the greater need for integration and the threats posed to our people from the growing cancer of Islamist extremism in our midst. Unfortunately, the recent attacks in Manchester and London have proved we were correct. I would also argue on many other issues we have led and others have followed. We put down a manifesto that not only highlighted many of the issues we now face, but came up with common sense remedies. Indeed, I called it a manifesto that was a decade ahead of its time. And I am more confident now than ever that many of our proposals in the 2017 manifesto will either be government policy or adopted by the establishment parties before the next general election. I believe in the long term, some of our policy proposals are inevitable, such as an English Parliament or a full face ban on a full face coverings ban. I am proud to have stood on a platform of policies that included getting immigration under control, slashing the bloated foreign aid budget, reversing the cuts to our police force and increasing the size of our armed forces. I contend that if UKIP is to prosper, it must continue to be the outriders of British politics, the party that leads the debate and does not follow, the party that is not hamstrung by political correctness and therefore straight talks and says what everybody else is thinking. If UKIP sticks to these principles, then I believe it will flourish in future years. Indeed, I even predict, after last night, that if things go the way I expect, then UKIP could, in 18 months' time, be bigger in terms of poll ratings and members than it ever has been before. However, it will not be with me as its leader. I am standing down today as the leader of UKIP with immediate effect. This will allow the party to have a new leader in place by the conference in September. And at the annual conference in Torquay, the new rebranded UKIP must be launched and a new era must begin with a new leader. This will be an exciting time for all of us who love our party. I have to admit that I never envisaged that I would lead the party into 3 by-elections and a general election in the space of 6 hectic months. I wanted at least a year of calm to rebrand and rebuild the party structures so we were ready for the electoral battles ahead. But alas, that was not to be. And if I am remembered as the UKIP leader who kept the party on the pitch through its most difficult period for the good times that I'm sure lay ahead, then that will be good enough for me. It is clear that UKIP requires a new focus, new ideas and a renewed energy, and it is there amongst our ranks. We need a UKIP focused on winning elections, be local or parliamentary, and a UKIP which is the voice of the Eurosceptic majority in Britain. I think, regardless of the score last night, I have laid the foundations for the future in this general election campaign, but it will be for someone else to build on those. It has been an honour to lead the party I love, and a party which I've helped build over many, many years. Most of you know it was a job that I never coveted, but I saw it as my duty to take the reins and guide the party through what was always going to be its most difficult period. And it would not have been any different whoever was leading the party. I believe the worst is over. The party is still on the pitch of British politics, and we can look back with pride at our achievements and forward with confidence. But now it is time for someone else to take it forward and stand up for the British people in the years ahead. So I say to UKIP members, keep the faith. Politics will come back onto our turf, and we have to be organised and ready to take full advantage of when it does. To the voters, I say UKIP is still here and UKIP is not going away. Ladies and gentlemen, I am confident that my party has a great future. Thank you.
There we are, Paul Nuttall, the former UKIP leader, standing down as leader of the party. He failed to win a seat, and of course the party lost many hundreds of thousands, many millions of votes. He said it's time to get new focus and new ideas for the party. He's taking some questions. Let's hear what he's asked.
I'm happy to do a job swap. I'll take his slot on LBC and he can come back as leader of UKIP. Well, look. No, it's not. Look. Politics is a long game, and as I said in the speech, the tide comes in, the tide goes out. We now have chaos. I mean, Theresa May has got this so wrong we could end up in a situation where there is a backsliding on Brexit, the kind of Brexit people voted for last year, and that's when UKIP becomes more relevant than ever. And I stick to what I said. UKIP could be bigger in the future than it ever was before. Tom.
Paul, John Rayner from Sky News. You said that your goal was to keep UKIP on the pitch. You just claimed that you had. But
Yeah.
show us where the evidence is of that. What can you point to from last night which says that UKIP is still on the pitch? It seems that you've been wiped off.
Well, you know, the polls weren't that great last night. And what's got to be taken into account as well, Tom, is that we stood down in around 230 seats or something like that. I mean, in effect, we probably have given the Conservatives about 1.5 million votes. And if it wasn't for us standing aside and trying to ensure that Brexit really did mean Brexit, Jeremy Corbyn would probably be in 10 Downing Street.
Paul Nuttall there, as I say, resigning as UKIP leader. The Queen's song comes to mind. Another one bites the dust. Another UKIP leader gone. Well, at least 3 times Nigel Farage has been it. He said he wants to come back to frontline politics. Maybe he'll take over. Paul Nuttall saying UKIP a victim of its own success, and he doesn't mean success in this general election. Of course, he's referring to the referendum last year. Failed to win any seats, and Paul Nuttall didn't even get close to getting one himself. We'll be getting more analysis of where the UKIP vote actually went and how it influenced the outcome of this general election in a moment or two. But let's deal with the here and now and the Conservative attempts, Theresa May's attempts.